Welcome to 30 Minutes of Wisdom, Rising in Consciousness and Mindfulness. 30 Minutes of Wisdom is about rising in consciousness and connecting to our most authentic self. Today, we're kicking off another episode on A Course in Miracles, a curriculum on inner peace. Let me introduce my co-hosts. We have Andre and Angelica.
Veronica, good afternoon. How are you?
Good, good, good. I'm so
Excellent.
happy to see you. I know that we had a little bit of a delay to start the show, but we got it all figured out, so we're ready to go.
Absolutely. Always glad to be here. Excited to get it going.
Excellent. Well, I just wanted to just repeat again the message on what is A Course in Miracles. A Course in Miracles is a spiritual self-study program illuminating the truth of our interconnectedness and the power of love. This book or this guide empowers you to reshape your reality and transcend limitations and embrace joy. So we're going to repeat this a few times so that we can understand what it is and we're trying to share with the world. But so let's go ahead and dissect this a little bit more. I did share that the Course in Miracles is a self-study program illuminating the truth of our interconnectedness and the power of love. Angelica, you are a spiritual coach. You help so many people to connect to themselves. And that's what your mission and your purpose is. Can you talk to us a little bit more about this concept of illuminating our interconnectedness and the power of love?
Thank you, Veronica. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to see your eyes and be connected with your spirit. Illuminate. First, I want to understand what illuminate means. Illuminate is understanding, is knowledge. When we step out of this uncertainty or unknown, so we can step from darkness to light. And the meaning of interconnectedness is how we can understand the meaning of connect, how we are connected, and how this can be an important tool to express myself, because the only way I can express myself, be truthful, and extend my love is by connecting with others. So without you, without a relationship, without the having other sitting next to me, without that, I cannot extend love. I cannot connect myself with this power of love. So coming
Because
from there,
what you're saying, Angelica, is that we often need a mirror, someone in our lives to help us mirror what's going on inside of us.
that's what I mean is the only way I can express love, and the only creation, the real creation is the extension of love. That's what the course is teaching us. And I want to share a little bit from the book so we can feel what the message is. And it says, before your brother's holiness, the world is still. So what does that mean? It means that I need my brother to feel and to know himself. I need my brother to feel this holiness so I can be whole as well. Because the world is still if he is not moving on in his understanding. And then it says, without you, there will be a lack in God, a heaven incomplete. What the book is teaching us with heaven is peace. When I'm in heaven, I'm in peace. So when you don't understand that I need you or I need my brother to have this heaven, that this peace is important to me and my peace is important to you, I cannot feel complete. For what God wills is whole. There could be no universe and no reality. I'm basically lost. For what God wills is whole, and part of Him because and part of His will is one. Nothing alive that is not part of Him, and nothing is but is alive in Him. Your brother's holiness shows you that God is one with him and you, that what he has in yours, because you are not separate from him, nor from his Father. So I need you. I need my brother to feel God, to feel heaven, and to understand how is my world happening to me.
Yeah, so this is really crucial. So if we talk about this of how we interact, or how do we connect this to our reality, our current reality, in our spaces of work, in our relationships, romantic relationships, or in our family relationships, everyone around me is a mirror of the connection I have with myself. If I am divided within myself, I am going to be divided with my brother, with a person, with those who surround me, starting with the ones that I love the most. And that's why it's so important to talk about that inner love, that self-connection, so that we can offer that to those around us. Andre.
Mhm. That's a great example. I can kind of, if I could double click on it a little bit in terms of the interconnectedness, right? So I remember an example in life where I was at the time I was traveling. I was in Italy. I went to a flea market, and I was, yeah, you go overseas and you're trying to buy souvenirs, and there was a specific jacket that I wanted to get. And so I'm going back and forth and I'm haggling with the vendor, and I'm trying to get the very best. I mean, I'm driving a hard negotiation. I'm trying to get it dirt cheap. And all of a sudden she just stops. And she said, "No, signore, devo mangiare." Devo mangiare means I have to eat. And I just stopped everything because it allowed me to just take a step back and recognize the humanity in all of this, right? I'm here trying to, you know, cheaply get a jacket, but at the same time, not recognizing that if she gave that to me, what was that going to cost her, right? That could potentially take things away from her. She couldn't do it. And so for me, it allowed me to see that divine essence in each and every one of us. It's not a zero sum game, right? Where one wins, one loses. It's a fact where we share a commonality, a common bond. And oftentimes that the bond is invisible. But Veronica, to your point, we're in the workplace. If we have a conflict with a coworker, it's so vital to be able to always recognize and not lose that compass of the interconnectedness that we share. And that was such a seminal moment for me because it's oftentimes if when you travel, you're overseas and you maybe cultural clashes and all that, but coming back to the basics that we are all sharing a life energy, if you will, and we carry that and it's active in each and every one of us.
When you talk about this life energy, and that's exactly what Angelica was reading about. We are conscious that not everyone who's listening right now believes in this concept of God, or everyone believes, maybe some of us believe in a higher force, higher power, a benevolent force in the universe, whatever you want to call it. But I don't think we can deny that we all come from a source of energy, of light that connects us all, and that's where we came from. And therefore, when you think about, we call it your brother, the person you're interacting with, I would say sister, brother, whatever it is, we have to be mindful that life doesn't revolve around us. And that the good I do for that brother or that sister, that good I'm doing it to myself. Whatever I do unto you, I'm doing it unto myself. And from that space we create, which is what Angelica talked about, is we are creating from love. And love is the only fountain, or the only source that we can create anything in this world. Another thing that was important that we talked about here and what A Course in Miracles is, Andre, is that it's a guide to empower you to reshape your reality. Um, Maybe talk a little bit more about that as well, like reshaping your reality. This is an important concept because I'm going to call it also the concept of manifestation.
Hmm.
Everybody in the world talks about manifestation, manifesting the reality that you want. But tell us through what lens does the Course in Miracle talks about this?
Absolutely. So what I love about, the teachings in the Course in Miracles, it starts early on. It's not just the text, it's the application of it, right? So it comes with a workbook. And in the workbook, one of the first teachings that you get is about giving meaning to things, right? Because oftentimes in life, what we have is we'll have a situation happen and then we'll attribute a meaning to it. And based off of that meaning, we'll create a story and then identity along the way. And so when we look at the text, the very first lesson, it says, "Nothing I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place means anything." So basically, what the course is doing, it's teaching you to kind of take a few layers back to reestablish a baseline of all the things that you have attributed meaning to, so that you can reshape your reality, not from a place of maybe fear or anxiety, but from a space of love, right? Once again, going back to finding that inner peace. But you first have to go back and unpack all the different aspects of life that you have attributed meanings. And some of are serving, and others there could be replacement that will serve you better. And so that was one of the more, I guess, foundational parts about A Course in Miracles that helped me reshape my reality.
Yes, and then reshaping the reality also, creating the life that you want. And a lot of times I have heard people talk about like you just have to be really clear about what you want. You have to be really clear about your want. But I think it goes beyond that. You
Yeah,
have to be really clear on who you are. You have
absolutely.
to be really clear if I know who I am, if I understand that I come from light, that I come from love, that I come from wisdom, that um, I then I'm clear that I'm creating from that place of alignment and integrity. There has to be this alignment and integrity, and where you are so clear, and then you can create, then you can manifest the reality that is aligned to your highest good.
Hmm. One of the things I realize is that we're constantly creating, but we may be creating subconsciously, right?
Yes,
And so when I love how you said where you go back and really understand who you are, because that is the foundation, right? That's the baseline. When you understand who you really are as a spiritual being, having a human incarnation, and you at a point when you have that understanding, expanded awareness, you get to choose your experiences. You just do not fall victim to things that pass through your awareness. You are more conscious in your co-creation of them. So that's one of the more the sticking points in understanding who you are, because oftentimes we identify ourselves with the roles that we occupy, a husband, a father, a salesperson, a student, right? But that's not who we are. That's a position that we fill, right? That's a overflow, if you will, of our personality.
that's right.
But there's a deeper meaning. And I think what happens is when people go through these changes, a role would change, and that role changing causes them to question their whole identity. So it goes back to the beginning that we just talked a few minutes ago about the meaning and the identities that we create along the way. But when we start with our identity of who we truly are, by asking that question, who am I?
And I remember the book is explaining that we can make or we can create, which is completely two different perspectives. Because if we can make with our head, with our mind, and not from the truth, not from that place of love, which is the creation that it maintains. If we make just because I want my ego to be recognized, when I make just because from the point or from the start point of not knowing myself, that disappears. When we create from that place of love, which is who we are, then we can expand. And that is what we really want.
Yeah, I love that, Angelica. The differentiation between making and creating. Our minds, our thoughts can take us to all wild places. And I think there is not one person here listening that has not felt this chaos at times of what happens in one's mind. And then I would ask you to think, or to stop and to pause and think, what am I creating from this place of chaos? And not creating, what am I making? Like you said, Angelica, what am I making? I'm making more chaos, because the chaos that is happening here is going to project on the outward reality. But what am I creating? Is when I go back to that alignment that Andre talks about, right? And then that alignment and a clear channel, for creation, and creating according to this higher benevolent power in the universe, which is where I come from. And this is why I think this whole discussion is kind of leading me to this theme of know thyself. Know thyself. If we know who we truly are, that is the seed of all creation, the limitless creation. So that takes me to the other aspect of what I said A Course in Miracles is that when what the course is really a curriculum on inner peace, and it helps us reshape our reality. It helps us to create from a place of love and understand our interconnectedness. And there's one more thing: transcend limitations and embrace joy. Now, I want us all to jump in on this, but transcend limitations. I think for a long time, I associated my worth or my identity to an organization. I grew up in a religious organization for a long time. As you all know, there's a book of mine out there. I grew up as a Mormon, then I came out as gay, then I left the Mormon organization. But all of these were identities that I borrow to be able to navigate in this world. They served a purpose, all of it. But I'm not neither of them. I'm not any of that. And the moment that I went from shedding all of my identities, meaning I'm also a business executive. I love the gifts that I share with the world in corporate America or with the world. I'm a coach and a strategist. I a lot of things, right? But when I take off all of these identities, what's left? Veronica. And what is Veronica? Right? Who is Veronica? Then I go farther. I am an eternal essence in the universe. I have no limits. I am a creator. I am infinite. I'm not bound by anything, by any realities that are in front of me. So from that place, and going back from about knowing thyself, then I can say from here, is there anything impossible for me to create? Can I transcend any limitations that I'm placing upon myself now? And starts with the limitations that I have within myself. And once I know that I'm limitless, that anything is possible for me because of who I am, this eternal presence in the universe, then from there, that reflects into my everyday life at work. Is there any goal that is impossible? If I'm working for a company, is there any goal that is unattainable? Is there any role or next position that I want to go for impossible for me? Or is it possible for me to have the love of my life? Is it possible for me to have the abundance that I want to call and attract upon my life, or that I am already, that I have already, that is already there present? No, it's not impossible. Everything is possible from that place. And I want to just read a couple of excerpts from the Course in Miracles that I think will probably shed some light on the conversation, because a course is called A Course in Miracles. But I remember I first resisted the title a little bit. Oh, miracles, it's super religious. It's not. What are miracles? Miracles, as A Course in Miracles explains, are expressions of love, and they occur naturally. And the real miracle is the love that inspires them. In this sense, everything that comes from love is a miracle. Another thing that I love from the book that I always emphasize when we have conversations with friends is that miracles are natural. And when they do not occur, something has gone wrong. We at times think about that miracles are something that is unattainable, but we don't realize that miracles are natural, and they are our natural state of being.
That's powerful. Our natural state of being. I think sometimes as we get older, we lose sight of that. Kids always have that awe and that wonder when you look at children and you see everything is like a miracle. It's because sometimes it's the first time they ever experience it. And so they move throughout life with that, just a natural occurrence of just the awe and beauty. That's powerful.
I remember in the beginning when I started reading the book, it was very difficult to understand. I had to reread and re-begin the book because I was looking for answers outside of me, trying to understand the message that it has to come from a place of that peace. You have to come from that place of love. So the question of what I'm creating today is the beginning. It should be the beginning of our day. What I am open to create from that place of love.
What I'm open to receiving, because it's already there for me. All of the infinite abundance that's there is already present. It's already present in my life. We just have to open our eyes and really, what is a miracle? And I want to finish with the thoughts about what is a miracle for me. What I learned from the Course in Miracles is that it's something super simple. A miracle is a shift in perception. Once we're able to shift our perception from fear to love, then anything is possible. Andre and Angelica.
No, that's powerful. Shift in perception from fear to love. I mean, it nails it. You were talking about a concept earlier, just being pure awareness. I know in Vedic tradition, we talk about chit akash, which means boundless, infinite awareness, being the natural state of everyone. And so from that perspective, having that pure, boundless awareness, anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. So there is no problem that is too big to solve. There's no challenge that's too large to overcome. And that is what normalizes the miraculous. when we have an understanding of our true identity, then the miracles are normalized.
Yes. Yes, when we have, let me repeat that, when we have a true understanding of our own identity, miracles are normalized.
And it's a conscious choice. I'll go back. It is a conscious choice that we make to move from fear to love.
It's a conscious choice to
It is
move
a
here.
choice. It is a choice.
And that's why we must have the discipline of the disciple.
Correct.
If we're left up to ourselves, our mind will take us everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
everywhere.
Yes.
So how do we do this? How do we do this, Angelica?
By being present, by being disciplined, by being committed to practices that are going to take us to that inner peace. Meditate in the morning, do any movement that is going to energize our body, move from the lack of action. Eat healthy, eat the most healthy we could, eat the most. Life is simple. If we eat just green, everything fresh, we good. So we wanted just to complicate our lives with mysterious answers, with mysterious food, with mysterious rituals that are confusing us. The more simple steps we do in our daily life, the most easy and fun is life.
Thank you, Angelica. And I want to just say then that we must be committed to ourselves. We must be committed to our well-being. And that starts in the moment we go to sleep and the moment we wake up. How do we go to bed? I think I would like to. I actually think there is an opportunity for me to meditate more before I go to bed. So I go to bed resting in peace, and I wake up the same way. I wake up and meditate, which we do, Angelica. We meditate quite often, and we read A Course in Miracles, and we read other books. But we must stay committed to our practice, so that we exercise the muscle to create miracles in our lives, which is a miracle, is a shift in perception from fear to love. And God knows we all need that every day with what's
Yes. Yes.
happening. Thank you so much, both of you. I love you both. Thank you for being brave to do this, because I know that it takes vulnerability to share this aspect of our lives, the spiritual self that we are, and share it with the world. Share it with other aspects of who we are, either business, our coaching practice, whatever it is, and share this with the world. Thank you so much. And I'm so happy that we got to do another episode of 30 Minutes of Wisdom on A Course in Miracles. So thank you, everyone, for listening. For those of you who will be listening to this episode, please send us, post some comments, send us some messages. If you have any questions, we are actually committed to connecting with you, responding, and anything that, any other ideas that you have, feel free to let us know. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you.